This meeting in the City of Frostburg is called to order. Please stand for the pledge and then remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are thankful for this special community, for the time we share together and the bounty of our nation. We are thankful for the commitment of our people who volunteer their time and talents to make our community a better place to live, work, and raise a family. We know that we alone cannot meet the challenges or provide sufficient inspiration without community involvement and the dedication of all concerned to the greater good of this city and all who reside in it. We are thankful for the beauty, the time, and the place that is Frostburg. Amen.
All right. If you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Donnie Carter,
Here.
Commissioner Kevin Grove,
Here.
Mayor Todd Logston.
Present.
Let the record reflect that Commissioner Forsyth does intend to join the meeting tonight if she is able to, and Commissioner Adam Ritchie is sick.
Thank you. All right, so we will hopefully expect Commissioner Forsyth here soon when she gets back. Moving on then to item 5, which is approval of tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
Duly moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Agenda is approved. Item 6, approval of the minutes from the December meeting.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes from the December meeting.
I'll second.
Duly moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the December 2024 open mayor and city council meeting. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Minutes are approved. Nothing under item 7, special presentations, nothing that we're aware of. Yes, okay, so moving on then to item 8, which is reports of the city departments. Mrs. Jones.
Good evening. Tonight I'd just like to do a quick highlight on our utility billing transition from the quarterly billing to the monthly billing. So in January, this was the beginning of what customers can consider their normal bills, because the December transition bills did not have surcharges. So the entire town's water meters were read the beginning of January. Bills went out. That will continue to be the practice. Water meters will be read around the 5th of the month. Bills will be generated around the 10th, and the due date will be around the 7th of the following month. So when there's a holiday or a weekend that impacts those dates, will be slightly changed, but that can be the normal billing cycle that customers can look forward to. We do continue to request that customers consider signing up to receive their bills by email. We've had a good turnout for that, and also we request customers consider signing up for ACH withdrawal, so that the balance of the utility bill can be withdrawn from a checking or savings account on the bill due date. It's very convenient for the customers, very convenient for city staff, saves a lot of time in processing bills and payments, and anything that we can do to eliminate errors is also helpful. It's very automated. So if any customers have questions about that, they can contact the finance department. I would also like to emphasize that all the real estate taxes have now passed their due date. So if any customer has a balance of their real estate taxes that are unpaid at this point, they are deemed to be delinquent. So if customers have their taxes escrowed by mortgage and you go online and check your account balance and you see something's unpaid, encourage the customers to reach out to their mortgage companies. Again, if there's any questions, they can contact the finance department, and we're happy to help.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, Ms. White.
Good evening. I have a quick highlight reel of the community development report. So code enforcement has kind of been slowing down, but we've been focusing a lot more on snow removal, and especially on those routes to school near Bell Elementary, and on the route to Mountain Ridge High School. That's where we've been focusing our efforts. 4 new code enforcement cases were opened last month, not last night. And one citation was issued for significant exterior property maintenance issues that have gone unaddressed over the last several months. On the permit side of things, we've received 7 permit applications. Of those, 2 have been released, including one for the Frostburg Fitness Center at 27 East Main Street. That was a commercial use and occupancy permit. We're really excited to have them in town. The other 5 of those permits are pending due to insufficient information that was provided on the permit application. So we're just trying to round up some additional information so we can get those permits released. Rental housing, we are full swing into the next round of rental housing licensing. So those renewal notices were sent out in late December, and for properties that are due for their triannual inspection, we also included a notice of inspection due on those. So just to give you some good news on the grant front, I sent you all an email about this, but I'd like to share this on the record. We received word that we were awarded $100,000 in strategic demolition funding, and that's to support the demolition of the blighted properties that the city owns on North Water Street, and then some other site work that'll prime that property for redevelopment a little bit down the road. So we're really excited to have gotten that award, and we're ready to dive in. Also, on the strategic demolition funding awards, County Economic Development was awarded $250,000 to support structural stabilization for our Main Street buildings. That's a collaboration between the city and Adam Strott from County Economic Development. So they were awarded $250,000 to support that. So we're still hashing out the details of what that will look like, what that program will look like. But we're really excited that the state has invested that in our downtown. And finally, last month, I had hinted that we had submitted a grant application for the Sustainable Maryland Action Grants Program. We were awarded $10,000 for improvements at the Edible Arboretum. That'll support new plantings, some site work there to make it more accessible and friendly to the community. I'm really excited about that number because it's $1,500 more than we asked for. So that will allow us, $1,500 goes a long way, and we can make it go really far. So I'm excited that we got more than we asked for. That's pretty rare.
Yeah.
So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Hayden Lindsay, I'll do the Public Works review for the past month. Very tame week, or very tame month for us in Public Works. On the water side, it was mostly just busted water lines, a couple valve replacements, nothing too serious. Mostly what we focused on there was actually our PACE presentation, which was the water project that we are looking at for this coming summer in relation to upping our water sources in order to better bolster our summer supply of water for all of our customers. On the streets and sanitation side, it's mostly just been garbage collection as usual, and then snow plowing and salt. Our salt building is completely full. We have ordered all of our salt so far that we had budgeted for. There is the potential for a significant budget amendment to that salt budget, which Elaine will talk about at some point. We're hoping to not have to do that, but it has been a very salt-heavy winter this far, so we're kind of running the numbers on that just to make sure we're safe. On the Parks and Recreation side, it's mostly been parking lot snow removal in and around the different parking lots throughout the city, and then some preventative maintenance and strategic upgrades in some of the parks. Think bathroom partitions, bathroom floors, things of that nature. Other than that, we're mostly just doing paperwork this time of year, CSO-related things, summer planning, getting ready for the roundabout project that we're getting all that engineering together for. It's 99% completed as far as the design and engineering goes. We're just getting ready for the actual federal paperwork phase to go ahead with that so that we're ready for construction whenever it's 100% done design. The rest of that is just our CSO stuff, which we will talk about in our monthly CSO report. So unless there's any questions, pretty quick and easy report.
I know there were some mechanical issues today with the sanitation department getting the garbage truck out.
Yeah.
Were they able to finish the route today?
Not all of it,
Okay.
so we'll pick it up tomorrow.
Okay.
So,
They are
yep.
planning on being out tomorrow?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Any questions?
Anything else? Thank you, Mr. Lindsay.
Thank you.
All right. And that is all the departments with the exception of the police department.
I make a motion, we approve the monthly reports from all the departments.
Second.
All right, duly moved and seconded to approve the reports of all the city departments with the exception of the police department. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Reports are approved. Commissioner, welcome.
Thank you.
You take your time. Next is item 9, which is the monthly CSO hearing.
So the CSO report for this month is pretty much all paperwork related. With winter shutdown, we really have not done too much work. It's mostly just been fencing work around Mountain Ridge High School. That's for Phase 10A. The big things that are going on is that the groundbreaking has happened for Phase 8C and 9D, which is North Grant Center Extended. We do anticipate those projects really kicking off in the spring once the weather breaks, and trying to complete most of those projects in the summer when the students are out, especially the Center Extended project. 10B and 10C, we have moved forward with MDE. Those projects are ready to, once they are back from MDE and MDE's approval and clearinghouse comments have come through, we will then proceed on to the next phase, which is the bidding portion of that project, to take it out to bid. And then we hope to ultimately be able to award those bids towards late summer with the hope of doing a groundbreaking in the fall. Those are our two biggest projects. That would mean just a mobilization, a groundbreaking, and then just to get a couple costs under our belt in the fall, go into winter shutdown, and then the bulk of those projects will happen in the summer of 2026. But mostly just paperwork for all that stuff. The rest is business as usual. So, unless there's any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll consider that the monthly CSO hearing that's required. Moving on then to nothing under old business, item 10. Item 11A, the first resolution of the new year, 2025-1. Ms. Jones.
I have for your consideration this evening Resolution 2025-01. This resolution would authorize the mayor to be added as an authorized signature for the purposes of the city's business, and it would also enable Hayden Lindsay to be named as an alternate authorized person. This is due to the transition of Elizabeth's position. So Elizabeth would remain as an authorized signer through the end of the month, and we would be adding the mayor. So for banking purposes, the mayor and I would be the primary signers on the bank accounts.
Just to clarify though, it's me and Hayden, right?
You would both be authorized
Right,
by the
okay.
city to sign.
Got it.
For banking purposes, we have to have 2 signatures, so
Right.
we would be primary.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
So I would need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-01.
Second.
Duly moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2025-01. Any further discussion among council on that? Any public comment? Hearing none? Oh, yes.
I just have a question
Sure.
about what the transition plan is for Elizabeth's position. Last I heard, you were planning it.
Yes, so I think we'll get to that a little bit later in the agenda, but we do have a plan, and we'll talk about that. Okay, any further public comment on that? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2025-01 approved. Resolution 2.
Next resolution is 2025-02. This would make amendments to the fiscal year ending budget that ends June 30, 2025. We discussed these amendments at your work session last week, and I just do want to point out 2 changes that were made between the work session version and the version this evening. One item is very insignificant in the rec department. We just changed the line item of the toolcat snow blade from capital outlay up to rec equipment maintenance. It didn't change the overall number, just the classification of that one particular item. And in the water fund, I did make a revision. The water service revenue, the increase now in that budget line item is only $228,000, and the difference would be an increase taking money from the fund balance to balance those adjustments. So those are the changes from the version that I presented last week. For the benefit of the public, I just want to discuss the main category of budget amendments that are proposed. The first main category is adjustments to project timelines. We mentioned there were projects in both the corporate fund and the sewer fund that are different than we originally anticipated. A portion of those are related to the ARPA project allocations as well. So that's one main change that is included in the budget amendments. The timing of the CSO projects is always uncertain as we start the budget year. And as we are mid-year now, there's a better idea of where those projects are expected to be by June. Again, we'll revisit those again at the end of the year, but with consideration of the delays in 10B and 10C, these amendments are more realistic. And as Hayden alluded to, we did increase the budget for the salt and abrasives line item. We increased the budget by $100,000 with seasonal changes. Some years we come out in a favorable situation with salt and abrasives. This is one of those years where the street department had already expended what was originally budgeted, and in order to have the opportunity to continue to buy those supplies and keep the salt storage facility well stocked, that was the proposed adjustment.
How many tons of salt does that add up to?
So far, we have ordered 1,500, and that was our entire budget thus far. That is all either been on the roads or in the building. We anticipate that getting us through mid-February. So then that 100,000 would take us into the ballpark of 2,000 tons of salt towards the end. So we're about at 1,500, 100,000 we think is get us a little over 2,000 tons. And then in the instance that we don't use all of that salt, it'll keep it till
Yeah, right.
next year.
So looking at the budget amendments in total, just a quick snapshot. Overall, the budget amendments reflect a decrease in budgeted revenues of about $3.9 million and a decrease in budgeted expenses citywide of about $3.8 million. So we will again revisit the budget at the end of June or towards the end of the fiscal year. And again, reevaluate and see if any other budget amendments are needed. The one other category where you see multiple line items reflected in a proposed budget amendment is in our insurance. We did have property appraisals that resulted in higher insured values, and we saw a rate increase. So that's reflected in multiple departments. But this would include the recommended budget amendments mid-year, and I would ask for a motion and a second to approve the budget amendments with Resolution 2025-02.
I move we approve Resolution 2025-02.
Second.
All right, it's duly moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2025-02. Any further comment or discussion among council? Okay. Any comment or discussion among the public? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2025-02 approved. Resolution 3.
The Resolution 2025-03 would be an amendment to the fund balance policy. The city had an approved fund balance policy since 2011, I believe, which established a target fund balance of unrestricted fund balance of 30 to 50% of the operating expenses for those funds. It is deemed that for the water surcharge fund in particular, that range of a target fund balance is not the best consideration regarding the uncertain needs and expenses that are covered by the water surcharge fund, particularly at Piney Dam. So this amendment would recommend that we change the target reserve range for the water surcharge fund to a range of $1 million to $2 million. And the fund balance policy for the other funds would remain as it was stated in the previous resolution of the 30 to 50% of expenses.
And again, this is sort of a self-insurance policy against some kind of cataclysmic event if the dam would burst or there'd be something that needs fixed right now that we don't have time to wait for insurance.
Or incurring, debt potentially
Yeah.
that
Okay.
would address those needs. Yes.
Approximately what does that fund sit at right now?
As far as unrestricted fund balance?
Yeah, approximately.
So as of the end of the June 30, 2024 audit, in the water surcharge fund, unrestricted fund balance was $953,226.
Okay.
So it is in the old fund fund balance range. The only fund as of the end of the audit for fiscal year '24 that is not within the target range is the garbage fund. And so our goal in addressing that not being within the target is to continue to budget for revenues in excess of expenses to try and build up that unrestricted, unassigned fund balance. But the other funds all fall within that target range as of the audit that we are just now completing.
Right, okay. Okay.
So I would ask for a motion and a second to approve resolution 2025-03.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-03.
Second.
That's duly moved and seconded to approve resolution 2025-03. Further discussion or comment among council? Comment or discussion among the public? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 3 approved.
Thank you very much.
Resolution 2025-04.
So I'll bring to your attention Resolution 2025-04. This is to award the interior finishes contract for the Bureau of Mines building to Daystar Builders. Just to clarify again, this is not our money on this one. This is the exterior storage building that we are constructing for one of our tenants, Daystar Builders. They are paying for the project. We are just doing the project management. The interior finishes portion of that build, the low bidder was Daystar Builders. We have worked with them in the past. We like working with them. They've been very responsive, very quick, and on top of things. And they were the low bidder in this instance. So I would ask for a motion and a second to approve the low bid of $41,843 to Daystar Builders, unless there's any questions.
They did the childcare building, right?
Yep.
And then this building also
Yep.
they worked on, so, yeah, they've been good.
Good track record.
Yeah.
Yep, so then I would just ask for a motion and a second on resolution 2025-04.
I move we approve resolution 2025-04.
Second.
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve resolution 2025-04. Any further comment or discussion among council? Any comment or discussion among the public? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2025-04 approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 5.
The Director of Parks and Rec, Brian Vogt, asked me that I bring this to your attention, that 3 members of the Recreation Commission's terms will be expiring, and he has asked that they are reappointed to a 2-year term. All 3 have indicated they would like to continue to serve on the Recreation Commission. It is Mark Roquet, Dottie Turner, and Sean White. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2025-05.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-05.
Second.
Duly moved and seconded to approve resolution 2025-05. Further discussion or comment among council? 3 good folks right there. Any comment or discussion among the public? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2025-05 is approved. And resolution 6.
Thank you, Mayor. I discussed this with you and the council at your work session last week. Pritchard Farms has had a tumultuous history here in Frostburg, starting in the mid-2000s, the housing crisis, ownership challenges of the bank that held the loan on Pritchard Farms development. The bank ended up defaulting several banks later, several negotiations with the city because of some other issues at the subdivision. Long and short of it is when the bank that last held it sold the property to Brandon Reese of Evergreen Associates, Western Maryland Construction Solutions, $25,000 was given to the city for the future construction of a playground at Pritchard Farms that was stipulated by the original approved development when there was different zoning ordinance requirements in play. Noting the demographic makeup of the community and the concerns or the desires of the HOA, in addition to Project Open Space money that the development was able to get from the county government, Brandon Reese has approached me to request that the playground money be released to other recreational amenities, namely a pavilion and other things associated with that pavilion in other open space within the development. So that is what this resolution is doing, is authorizing those funds held in a CD, which matures on March 29th of this year, be released to the Pritchard Farms HOA. Then the HOA could pay the developer or the contractor, whoever builds the pavilion, for that work to be completed. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2025-06.
I understand that in addition to the pavilion, there will be like trails and, or other things.
Trails and I think a dog park
Oh,
as
dog park,
well. A non-city operated dog
Yes.
park, importantly.
Ideally.
So that's what the Project Open Space application included, but I know that specifically they had asked us to contribute towards the pavilion construction. So,
As long as it's still going to something recreation related.
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion?
I move we approve Resolution 2025-06.
Second?
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2025-06. Any further comment or discussion among council? Comment or discussion among the public? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2025-06 approved. Okay. That's the last one, right?
yes, sir.
Next item is Chief Costello.
Good evening, Mayor Commissioners. I have the report for the Police Department for the month of December 2024. We had 394 incidents logged. As always, a variety of incidents, 10 arrests of various types, 13 parking violations, 13 well-being checks, 38 requests for a police officer, 21 disturbances, 10 motor vehicle crashes, 1 DWI, and 25 traffic stops. So, as always, a variety of activities out in the community. I always try to touch on a few just unique or neat community policing or positive events. So, two things that have happened recently. One is during National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day last week. The Mountain City Center Nursing Home invited us down to mingle and have a little kind of little party together to see the residents and the staff. So it was very nice, very positive thing. Good relationship between the facility and the police department. And we're very pleased that approximately a week or so ago, we had a recruit graduate from the police academy.
Mm-hmm.
So along with several officers, Commissioner Grove and Mayor Logsted and I attended the graduation, and he's actually here now working under his field training officer.
Good.
And that would conclude my report, unless you'd like me to elaborate or have any questions.
I noticed that the number of incidents is down significantly,
Yeah.
nearly 40% from the year before. Do you attribute that to
Yes.
anything, or?
Yeah, that is a good question. I noticed that too. I would have to take a look. One thing that sometimes raises the numbers a lot is patrol checks. Like sometimes if we have maybe a specific incident, maybe a crime has occurred in a certain neighborhood, we'll ask our officers to log patrol checks. So every time they go by, they'll call in a log, I checked this area, I checked this area. Other times we don't do that if it's just more regular patrols. So I will have to look and see what the difference is, but my guess is that's probably what it is. Weather can make a difference with traffic enforcement too. When it's nicer, the number of traffic stops can go up significantly, closer to 100 sometimes. So I'll certainly be glad to take a look and get back with you, but I don't know of anything glaring that's happened between last year and now that would change that.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you,
Certainly
Mayor.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners.
Moving on then to item 13, open public comment. Before we open it to public comment, I will address the question that was asked earlier about the the leadership transition. So this was talked about in the work session last week. It was also talked about in the closed session that followed our December meeting. There have been some media announcements about it, but we'll put it on the record here. So as we all sadly know, next Friday, at the end of January, will be Elizabeth's last day here as city administrator. She is moving on to greener pastures, so she thinks.
It's always greener on the other side,
That's right.
Until you get there.
So council has discussed at great length what to do in the interim and also the long term. So beginning on February 1st, Our Public Works Director, Hayden Lindsay, will assume the title of Acting City Administrator. In addition to his job that he currently has, he will also take that responsibility on. And Lydia Clark, our City Project Manager, will assume the title of Acting Deputy City Administrator. So the way that Council and I see this working for the foreseeable future is that as City Administrator, Hayden will handle most of the external, the outward-facing jobs, the outward-facing part of the City Administrator position, interfacing with other government officials, interfacing with the outer departments that way, and Lydia will handle more of the administrative and the internal functions that the City Administrator assumes, helping us to run these meetings, managing the internal affairs in the city, that kind of thing. So it will be sort of a split role for the foreseeable future until we are able to hire somebody, whoever that ends up being, on a permanent basis. So the position is currently advertised. It's advertised on the city website. It's advertised on government jobs on a lot of different places. Applications are being accepted for about 6 weeks, right, through early March. At that point, once the application window or the application deadline passes, Council and I will appoint a committee of folks from the community to sort of weed through those applications and choose the best handful that will then go on to a second interview process with Council, hoping to have somebody hired by May, late April, early May, somewhere around there.
Unless we just get a stellar.
Yeah, and I mean, unless, yeah. That's our goal. It could happen before then. Hopefully it doesn't happen after that.
And if you know of any candidates that you think,
Yes.
you know, anybody who would be a good candidate, please send them our way.
Any and all, certainly welcome to apply. Qualifications, job description, salary, all that kind of stuff is on the website and in the application. So, all right. Moving on then, open public comment, a time for Frostburg citizens or anyone in the community to come forward and express concerns or questions.
I actually just had a follow-up question.
Sure.
For the record, I'm Kelly Mears, 58 Linden Street. My follow-up question is, are the folks who are taking on extra responsibilities to fill this role, are they being compensated for that?
They are.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent. And so the position is not being like, the funds for that position are not being like held for the future role?
No, it's a regular budgeted position.
Okay, that
So,
was my only
yeah.
question, sorry.
No, please, don't be sorry. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else from the public? Yes, if you'd like to please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Will Brower. My address is 113 East Main Street. Good evening. I'm a resident living above LG's Pizzeria on Main Street. I'm here to address the ongoing challenges residents face with parking in this area. Our building has only 6 parking spots, which we must share with LG's patrons and employees. Previously, we were able to park behind the building, but when the new candle business moved in, I found my car towed without warning, costing me $160. Recently, I also received a $30 parking ticket on Main Street overnight. While my landlord has a parking lot available, it is on a steep hill a few blocks away with rough terrain, making it inaccessible during snow or ice. As a result, I often feel trapped in my apartment, worried that leaving will mean losing what little parking I have. I understand the importance of supporting small businesses in Frostburg, but we must also prioritize the needs of residents who live among them. I urge the council to consider solutions such as designated residential parking or exceptions for parking on Main Street overnight, especially during poor weather conditions. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
The problem with allowing parking on Main Street through bad weather is that that's when the plows come and try to plow curb to curb. If a car is sitting on Main Street, you lose a space behind it and a space in front of it because the plow has to come back out onto the road and then back into a parking place. So that's the problem with, and why we have limited parking in the wintertime on Main Street.
Yeah.
Where's the parking lot that your landlord has available?
It's behind the Au Petit building.
Oh, okay, because there's
Okay.
I know there's a parking lot on Wood Street, about a block behind that building, that the owner at one time had leased out spaces for. there was a house there that they tore down. There's like a 15-lot parking
right at the
parking
end
lot
there,
there. Yeah, it's
bottom.
right at the end of Wood Street. Might be something worth looking into.
But it's something that would have to be taken up with Larry because he's your landlord, right?
Yes.
Have you spoken with your landlord about this? About the one in the back? Does he own the one in the back where the shop is, or does somebody else own that?
No, somebody else owns it.
Okay, so then that would be, he wouldn't have any control over that.
Was it posted that it was for the candle place? Because if it's not posted, how can they ticket you?
Would it be the one across from the pizza
Somebody
place
else
back
owns
in
it.
there? Where behind the Chinese restaurant? And is that where you're talking?
Well, it's
You
gotta
got
The parking lot?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because it is posted
It is?
for
Yes.
people, yeah.
All right, well, the next time I'm in there, I'll say something to Larry the next time I'm in LG's. We have a pretty good working relationship with him. I'll ask if he can at least get in contact with you and try and find something so that your car's not getting towed all the time. I'll speak to him.
And I mean, it doesn't make his apartments very attractive if people
Right.
can't park, you know?
Mayor, we
Yes.
can also get you information on who owns that parking lot currently.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
That
The
Commissioner
one on Wood
Carter
Street.
mentioned, yeah.
Yeah, that would be fine. So we'll see if we can come up with an answer. I'll speak to Larry and tell him that he needs to get in contact with you and find a solution to this.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Anything else? Any other regular public comment? Okay.
Irregular public comment?
Irregular. All right, Commissioner Carter, anything else?
Nope.
Commissioner Forsythe? Commissioner Grove?
No.
Before you go, boss, I would just like to say on behalf of all of us how grateful we are for all the work that you've done all these years and keeping all of us straight and out of trouble. And just, I can't possibly thank you enough. The transition this summer of me coming into this role and how easy you've made it, and just everything that you've done all the years that you've been here, we're certainly going to miss you. Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth, for everything you've done.
Oh,
Thank you.
I would echo that. Ever since you came in, the way you professionalized the whole city government, and tried to create equity amongst all the employees, and the way you've shuffled people around so that they could be in the best position for their skills, changed the names of the roles so that you could have the best match of people to roll. I think you've really made this the envy of the county, so thank you.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate it, and I I'll keep it short. Working for Frostburg has truly been an honor, and it's been an absolute pleasure to serve for this council and work with the staff at City Hall. They're top notch. I joke that I love all of them, but I do. They're great. Their heart is here in the community of Frostburg, and all of their efforts is what's made me look good. So, but I thank you very much for this opportunity. It was definitely not an easy decision, but it's, maybe a little less 24/7 responsibility. So I think that'll be good for me and the kids.
Yeah. You're certainly
We
right that
understand.
the staff is top notch, and I think that it too speaks to your leadership and the way that you inspire people to come in and do a good job every day. You have big shoes to fill, but Hayden has big feet, so.
Need to get him some nicer shoes.
And,
Yeah, maybe.
And appetite.
And big appetite, that's right.
I'll have to trade out my boots for slippers.
Anything else? Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.